Hey, so I decided to try something new today. I'm going to do kind of a vlog day in the life of a PhD student during the whole lockdown situation, which is a little bit different for me because I'm an American doing a PhD in the UK. So for me, I couldn't really go home even if I wanted to. I mean, there's the whole like border closing thing and like the implications of travel, but there's also the visa thing, which in my personal experience, this isn't anything legal. I mean, be sure to check with the actual Home Office if you need any of this information. But from what I understood is that a condition of our visas to be in this country to do postgraduate study is that we're working full-time on our projects. From what I understand, that if I were to go back to the States right now, I would in a sense be admitting that I'm not working full-time on my PhD, and that would mean that I am in violation of my visa and therefore would have to forfeit it. So of course, not knowing all the legal ins and outs of that situation, I decided to play it safe and just stay here so that I don't have to deal later with any visa implications. So I have been at home per usual at this point in my PhD and within the UK system. I don't have any classes, I don't have any exams, I'm literally just researching and writing. So there's not a whole lot that's different for me. I would be at home doing this anyway, except that I would at least probably once a week, maybe at this point twice a week, be going into London to go to the British Library to have access to some books and some materials that I don't have access to here. So that's different, and that means that there are certain parts of the chapter I'm working on that I can't really get done right now because I don't have access to those materials. But yeah, for the most part, I've just been here doing a lot of reading. I think what I've noticed is that as productive as I am, which I've been sort of like highly functioning during this time in the sense that I've been doing my housework and I've, been keeping up on chores and little admin-y things, it's been hard for me to do the actual PhD writing. When you're in this level of academic writing and academic study, you have to use a really intricate higher level of thinking in order to process all the things that you're reading, and then in order to take those sort of puzzle pieces that you're reading from other people and then insert your own new puzzle pieces to make your own argument. When you're in a survival situation, which for a lot of us, this is a survival situation. There's a worldwide pandemic, there are anxieties and underlying issues. That type of processing isn't something that your brain is prioritizing at the moment. So for me, I've been reading, I've been doing a lot of taking Bilbo out and a lot of chores around the house and a lot of other creative projects. But when it comes to being able to process information and then to digest it and regurgitate it into an academic argument in writing, I've been having some trouble doing that. My plan today is to do some reading of some articles, a couple reviews of the plays that I'm working on. I'm hopefully going to write about 1,000 more words and start doing some editing and some rearranging of what I've already written. At some point I'll get a workout in, hopefully, and take Bilbo out for a little adventure so that he can swim in the creek. And that's all I have planned. So we'll see how it goes, and I will take you along with me if I do anything interesting, which I probably won't do because this is my life. I sit and I read and I write. But yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I have officially decided to take a lunch break. I didn't do a whole lot this morning. I just sort of like stared at my screen and willed the words to come, but they didn't. So I'm gonna call it a break. I'm gonna make some food, get myself fueled up. I don't have a whole lot of groceries in right now, so I think I'll do what I've been doing for the last few days, and that's just throwing some rice in the rice cooker, putting some shredded cheddar cheese on top, and then I make my own little sort of pico de gallo. I got canned corn, got tomatoes, onions, I have some cilantro I'll put in there, some lemon, and then I'll put some beans in it, and I'm just gonna call it a burrito bowl and call it good. I don't eat meat, so the beans are where I'm gonna get the protein, and then hopefully that'll be brain food for me to get going again after that. And I think I'll eat in the garden. It's a beautiful day, so I'll take you out there with me and try not to take too long because it's really, really tempting to take a long lunch break and just hang out with the dog. But I have a deadline, so I gotta go. Hey, future editing Shelly here. So I did take you out into the garden with me. I had like the camera set up and everything, but I had it turned on to record when I was setting up, and then I turned it off when I started talking because I'm super smart and that's what I do. So yeah, there's no garden footage, but lunch was delicious. Okay, so I just finished my lunch. It's a little bit after like 1 o'clock, so it's a little bit later than I wanted it to be, but that's fine, that happens all the time. And you can get like another little like back look at my office, which I don't usually show that often. But the reason that I'm running a little bit late is because as I was finishing my lunch, I had a package delivery, stuff that I ordered yesterday, so I'm excited that it's already here, and I'm gonna get using them now for the rest of my day. So the first thing I ordered is a new little blender bottle. I've been using a plastic one, but I feel like it gets kind of like grimy and smelly and gross. So I wanted to try one that's not plastic and see how that goes. And then the other thing that came with it is a new pre-workout that I wanted to try. I drink pre-workout in the afternoons after I've switched off of coffee, because it gives me like a little energy boost for the rest of the day, and then I sort of feel like I'm drinking water. But don't come at me with your science. I don't know a whole lot about it. I just know that it's helpful for me. So I'm gonna try that out and see how it goes. And the reason that I'm on my phone camera instead of the nice camera is because I'm going to set up the nice one to do sort of like a behind the shoulder watching me as I do an hour of really focused works, which I think will help me. I think it'll help me focus to know that the camera's there watching me. So I'm gonna set that up and I'm going to make myself a pre-workout, and then I will cut to that other shot. Okay, it's about 1:30. I think I have the shot set up all the way that I want it to be, so that you can sort of watch me work for the next hour of really focused work time. I have my phone set. I have a timer set for an hour that I will start in just a second, and what I'll be doing for the next hour is reading a couple articles that I already have pulled up on my screen, and then I also have a couple editions right here of the Shakespeare play that I'm going to use, so I'm going to be doing some close reading, which basically means I'm just going to go in and find text that helps to prove the argument that I'm making about that play. So I'll be reading the articles and then I'll be doing the close reading. I have my pre-workout all ready to go. I've been sipping it already. It's actually pretty good, and the brand is called PhD, which I hadn't realized when I got it, so that's kind of fitting for now. So hopefully that'll kick in and give me a little bit more energy and focus. And then I also have queued up on my Bluetooth headphones some background ambiance noise. I can't listen to the things around me or any music because I'll just get distracted and I'll start tracking the notes and stuff. So it's just sort of like background brown noise or whatever you want to call it, to help me zone in. So I will see you either in an hour when this timer goes off or after the camera battery dies. And I'm assuming it will be the camera battery before the timer. So here we go. For those who are curious about my PhD topic, I study early modern drama, so basically that's Shakespeare and the other playwrights at the time, and how those guys would have essentially stolen stories from old folk tales or religious texts or mythologies and updated them or adapted them for their early modern audiences in England. Specifically, I look at how the women in those stories, or the female archetypes, would have been changed or adapted or updated, or how those women would have used certain political ideas of the early modern period to change their stations within a patriarchal society. More specifically in this chapter, I'm looking at Measure for Measure and All Is Well That Ends Well, and how the women in those stories used a device called the bed trick to kind of get back at guys who didn't treat them very well, or to turn those guys into husbands, which I'm not really sure why they'd want them as husbands, but they happened how they happened. So here I'm looking at specific lines from a character called Angelo, who says to a woman, "Who would believe you?" When he basically tries to manipulate her into sleeping with him. So I'm looking at that through a post-Me Too lens to see how our current culture and society would interpret that today. Okay, so that was about an hour. Oh, here comes Bobo. I hope we caught him going up the stairs at one point. He's sulking. He doesn't like it when I don't pay enough attention to him. Are you coming down, baby? Come on. There he is. Yeah, he was sulking, I think, because I wasn't paying attention to him. I had my headphones on, I was zoned in. So what I was doing there, so I have two different editions of this Shakespearean play. They're both done by the New Oxford Shakespeare, but one of them, the one that I already had highlighted and written in, belongs to me, so I can do whatever I want with it. And that's what modern playhouses like the Globe up in London use as their script when they're doing a show. So when I watch a production of a show, that's what I use to take my notes in and stuff. And then the one that I was just putting the post-its in is the critical edition, so it's got like the real language that they used at the time. And that's the language that I need to use when I'm actually putting my thesis together, because that's more accurate. So I was going through the notes of the modernized text and finding where the old text was, so that those are the lines that I can use in my actual thesis. So that's what I was doing there. I also forgot to put my phone on silent, so I got a couple messages coming through, but I just quickly told them, you know, I'm working on a deadline, so I need to go. So that was my hour of focused work. I think I'm gonna go take a little break. my brain's not even working right now. So maybe I'll take this guy out and pay some attention to him, and I'll see you on the flip side. Okay, so normally what I would be doing during these afternoon breaks is probably taking Bilbo out for like a really long walk by the river down in the countryside, which we both really love to do, but it's a Saturday and the weather's really nice, so there are gonna be a million people out there. And people aren't really following like all the social distancing rules and stuff right now, so I just don't really want to deal with that today, so we're not gonna do that. But I think he might go over and play at the neighbor's house for a little bit, which he loves to do. And I'm going to keep active during the break time. I'm up in the bedroom now. I think I will fold some laundry and make the bed, and just do some sort of like downtime activities that keep me going, so that when I do get back into work, it's easy for me to zone back into it rather than sitting down and watching a show and then like getting sucked in and then it's hours later and I haven't done anything. So I'm going to do a couple chores and then sit down and get back to it. So I finished up doing some household chores and took Bilbo out to the garden so he could have a little sniff, and then the neighbors opened up his little hole that we have between our fences so that he could go over and play with them. And while he was over there playing in the little paddling pool they got for the dogs in the neighborhood, I went back to my desk and decided to get some good focused writing time in without the little buckaroo between my feet begging for food all the time. It's a little bit after 3. Bilbo is very happily over at the neighbor's house. He has a really good time with them. So I'm gonna sit down and use this time to get some good writing in. I need to get that word count up. And this is gonna be my 3rd section of kind of focused working time for the day. I'm not gonna do another sped up video because I think that one little section of speeding in one video is enough. So I'm just gonna let you know that's what I'm doing, and I'm gonna head off and I'm gonna do it. Alright, it is officially 5 p.m., which means on a normal PhD day, I would be finishing my day about now and sort of relaxing for the rest of the night, maybe cooking some dinner, taking the dog out again, hanging out with my other half and chatting. But of course, today is not a normal PhD day because I have a deadline tomorrow. So after I finish this video, I'm gonna get a workout in, and then I'm gonna go straight back to working on my bibliography and making sure that all of my sources are there and that it's formatted correctly. And that means that tomorrow I can focus on getting my proofreading done and filling in the holes in my argument and get that sent off to my supervisors on time. So what you didn't see for the last couple hours is that I got some good, intense, focused writing time in. I got my word count up, which is fantastic because I definitely needed to do that. And I think doing this video today was really helpful for me because it broke up my day a little bit and it made me think about what I was doing instead of sort of just wandering through the PhD process. So if you want to see more videos like this, I would be more than happy to make them. Let me know in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed yet and you're curious to know about what life is like for a PhD student in the UK, be sure to hit that subscribe button and I will, again, make more videos like this because I had a lot of fun. And in the meantime, I hope that you're doing well with your studies and this whole lockdown thing. Now I'm gonna go get my bum moving and get a little bit of exercise in, spend some time with the dog because he's feeling a little bit neglected, and then I'll go straight back to my PhD. So I will see you next week.